This is the Then Everything After podcast with your boy Amax.
Sasha Chantel.
And Franklin, aka the King of Trainers. What's going on, guys?
Hey Fab. Hey Simon.
You're back.
Hey.
hey. How's it all going?
All is good.
Good.
But what are we going into today? Because I know we've got lots to talk about.
Loads.
Yes, we always do. Okay, so this is an interesting topic actually, and this is something that I think we can all relate to. We've all seen, we all understand, and I know we're gonna have a lot in terms of opinion on this. But this is Black women supporting Black women. Do we think there is enough of this essentially, or do we think there is room for improvement? That's how I kind of would like us to kind of look at this when visiting this discussion. So let's just jump straight in.
Do you know what? I want to throw a spanner in the works and actually add Black men into this, but talk about Black men and their lack of support of Black women, because we've got this whole thing going on where obviously Black Lives Matter, and we've got even John Boyega made the mention of it when he was doing his speech at the protest about, you know, Black women being the core of the family and being important and blah blah blah. And many Black men have not done that to their Black women. They have not. And you know, I've also called them out in this podcast, and the Black women who are not supporting each other, because it happens all the time. And it shouldn't take us getting killed by other races for us to then unify and stick together.
Indeed.
Yeah, 100%.
From the outset. So yeah, so I will come back in after, but what's you guys' thoughts on literally Black women and Black men not supporting each other in the right way?
Simon.
Okay. Well.
I knew for you.
Yes, start.
Go.
What do I think about this? It's a tough one. I have to agree with the fact that the support of the Black woman is lacking in general. And I think it goes further than just within the household. It's just in society in general. I see evidence of this in the workplace. You know, you could have a Black male boss who knows that stuff's going on in the workplace that involves a Black woman. But instead of doing the right thing in that situation, he protects his position in that company.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So there's that example. But then there's also in the home. And I think this is to do with the modern idea of the family unit, or the lack of thought behind the concept of the family unit. That has a lot to do with this. So I think the way the Black woman is treated is based on a lot of elements. It comes from kind of the music, the reality TV stuff, the way we portray Black women, the way fashion portrays what a Black woman should be, like all these different elements. You even get like slight divides in education, you know, university, even back in secondary school, just the way you would see Black boys treat Black girls versus how you'd see other races treat men treat women. It's different. So it's like it happens on in so many layers that I can't say that a lot of Black men who would be guilty of this have actually sat back and thought, hey, am I supposed to, like, have they even sat back and thought, hey, am I supposed to treat a woman like this? Or
no.
Am I supposed to treat a Black woman like this or like that? Have they thought about that impact? I don't think they have. No. I don't think it's even a conscious thing anymore. And that's the issue. I think it's the consciousness isn't there. The consciousness isn't there. The family dynamics all messed up. I can't say across the globe. I'm just talking as a person in the UK, specifically in London. Yeah. So from a perspective of a Black man who's grown up in London, I look at it and I think, for many of us who were born here specifically, so I'm not talking about individuals who were born in parts of Africa or the Caribbean. Yeah. I'm talking about specifically Black British individuals. I think there is a disconnect. There is a definite disconnect. And I feel it's because as we've adapted to European culture, I feel like it's had a not so favorable impact because maybe the way we do family is different.
Possibly.
But it's not there. Like, you could ask a guy, like, when the last time was that he spent time with his relatives, his aunties. Does he even know his aunties? Yeah. Does he have a relationship with his aunties? He might know his uncles. What's his relationship like with his mum? What's his relationship like with his dad? How did his dad treat his mum?
Yeah, good point. It's true.
So I think it would be wrong for me to turn around and say that black men treat black women badly, and it's a conscious thing. I feel like it's a deep-rooted issue.
Yeah. So what
So
about
that's
okay, but then what about black women treating other black women badly? Is that a deep-rooted thing?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like, remember, there's a lot of hate towards black women
Yeah.
in society. So that's gonna then become a part of the consciousness of the black woman. So if there's hate in your heart for yourself, then you are going to project that on somebody else, and you might not even realize that that hate is really there, and you might not stop your own actions. So you're doing stuff unconsciously, you know.
Yeah, 100. That's true.
You know,
I didn't really think about it.
You're like constantly competing to not be as bad as her, because in your mind you're seeing her as bad rather than as good.
Yeah.
Because you're not seeing yourself as good or good enough. Because society is constantly beating black women. Yeah, society is constantly telling black women that they got to work harder than anybody else. You know, that it's okay to be at home with the kid and for you to basically be the main parent, even though there are two who are functioning and existing. You know, even if you're not together, it's that whole thing. And it's not like it's happening in a way where the man goes away and he makes sure that they, even if their relationship doesn't work out, that the family is completely provided for. You don't really hear a lot about that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that would be the minority, not the majority. Yeah, it kind of goes from one extreme to the other. It's either there are relationships and it's a full family unit. I guess in terms of the public opinion, that would be the minority, the majority being parents separated.
Yeah.
And the journey runs its course through young girls and how they're treated and the expectations put on them. It's like you're telling someone you have to fend for yourself, because it doesn't matter what you say, it's what you show. So if you show the only person who was needed was mum, how does the daughter learn that anything else is needed or important or how to value it? It's not there. You can't see it. Doesn't matter how much she says, oh, you know, don't take my example. I'm sure you'll find someone who will care for you and look after you. It doesn't matter what you say. It's what you see. So you go out into the world, you go to school, you see girls bickering with girls over guys and, your hair's like this and it's not like that. Your facial features like this, it's not like that. You're not light enough. You're not dark enough to be black. Oh, you're like...
It's endless.
endless things.
Yeah.
But let me stop ranting, because I know you've both got your opinions and I could go on about this, but I don't want to...
No, I think you've hit some key stuff there,
I don't want to come across as disparaging.
Fab, what do you think?
Oh God, this is a tough one. I think when it comes to women supporting each other, I think as a race, black people do need to support each other more. Yeah, we have been, if we talk about historically, we have been segregated and separated, not by choice. Do you get what I mean? When we look at Africa as a whole, Africa was one country, and then they split up. So by splitting up the countries, it caused segregation already within one country. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, what then happened is by splitting us up, that caused segregation. Then, by the whole slave trade, caused another form of segregation. Yeah. Then, after the slave trade, in society, they pitted us against each other, being from maybe Africa and then the West Indies. So that caused another form of segregation. Then within our own communities, whether it be Jamaican or African, in our African communities, Ghanaians and Nigerians may not like each other. So then within Ghanaians and Nigerians, we have Ghanaians who come from a certain place in, say, the northern Ghanaians, they're like the southern Ghanaians. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
So in terms of support, we have been segregated to the point that we don't actually know what type of, you know, we're not actually unified from our foundation sometimes, even though we're probably the most unified place in the world. So that has translated, and that trauma has led to us seeing our own as a threat instead of a ally. So when it comes to women supporting each other, unfortunately, they may see each other as threats instead of allies in the beginning, which is a problem, you know. And I think that in itself has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed on so many levels. You know, there's this whole dark skin versus light skin thing, which I think shouldn't happen, you know. And we get into a classless society, then what we start doing is we start putting ourselves against each other in a negative way. And then the men get involved, and then they, you know, so it's you know, we need to look at Black people as a whole with one color, and we need to, and women need to realize whether you're light, whether you're even mixed. I've mixed is Black. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like we need to start to be unified, because the minute we start to get unified, we can become stronger.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And I think we need to look at that. But I think what's happening now in terms of not being unified, that's a historic trauma that we've held. And that trauma has kind of led us to not value each other as equals and value each other as competition at all times, unfortunately. You know, and we see it today in society. When you see someone in a club, whatever, there's always that type of resistance. You know, someone said this at the Black Lives Matter thing, is that why are Black boys killing each other? Do you know what I mean? What is the reason? They see them as rivals rather than allies. Yeah. You know what I mean? I see every Black person, and to be fair, I don't even single it out to Black. I see most people as allies before I see them as anything else. So I see someone as an ally before they present to me that they are not an ally. So that's how we need to start looking at each other.
No, I feel like that's powerful. Everything you said there was just like so spot on in terms of like the core of where it's all come from, the foundations. I do feel though that Black men have a responsibility to be a part of the change of this. And what I mean is then they don't really help, because I don't see any other race of men put down their women like Black men do. Like you won't see a Chinese man putting a Chinese woman on TV. You will not see that. You won't see them create memes about women and their hair and their makeup and the wigs they're wearing. Only we do that. And Black men are very vocal in their putting down Black women. And then it makes other Black women then feel comfortable to put down their sister because that Black man is putting them down. So for me, you know, Black men have a big narrative. They've got a big voice in this. And like music videos are one of the main issues of, you know, colorism and the whole fact of casting lighter skin models and ignoring the Black women, darker skinned women, sorry. And then, you know, when you have women wearing wigs and weaves, it looks good in the video, but if you're at the club, the comedians make jokes about your hair being not real. And then they'll date Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner with their hair wearing wigs because they're white, it's okay. So it's these double standards that are imposed on us as Black women. We can't even accessorize and try different styles because we're trying to be white, or we're trying to be more Eurocentric. And then Black men will tell you they're trying to be white. And I've been told by many Black men that I'm trying to be white. And now I'm embracing my Black side. I can wear my natural hair. And that's from Black men saying that to me. Wow. And I've had Black women say that to me, but I've had more Black men say it to me. And I think Black women get comfortable with that and being not supportive of each other because of that whole structure of Black men not being behind us, you know. And I really do think men are at the core of this, and they can make the situation much, much better. Because it's very interesting. I've got, say for example, my hair right now, I've got so much love for me having my hair like this, right? For men and women alike. But when I was younger, these same men who were saying my hair looks nice now were calling my hair nappy 10 years ago. I don't want to name people and call them out, but they were the same people who would say, put away your hair and put on your weave, it looks better. And now they're saying, yes, sister, you're embracing your Black side. And it's like, really? Are we going to go down that road? Because if I was in your music video 10 years ago, you would not cast me with my hair like this, and you know it. So until we be real and stop pretending about what we think is culturally looking more Black or whatever, we're not going to get any better. We're not going to heal the problems that we've had and the scars that we've got there from the foundation that's been set from being in slavery and so forth, if we're going to sit there and pretend that this is okay. You know, we've got to go much deeper now and realize that Black men and Black women equally play a part of this negative narrative, and we've got to stop hiding behind our struggles per se and do something about it now. We know better now. We know when we're doing something wrong. Black men know they're being bad when they call a woman nappy-headed. They know it's wrong, but they think it's funny. and they know it's damaging, but they think it's funny, and it's not funny, and it's problematic. So it's about stop making things a joke and see the serious nature of things, and actually go forward in that stance instead of pretending it's okay, because it's not, you know. So I'm quite passionate about it, because I've had that. I literally tried this hair for that reason, to see how many black men would be singing my praises now. But I remember doing my pageants and stuff, and them same men would tell me to put that messy hair away. So, you know,
It's disgusting,
and they're high, and maybe it's maturity. They've got older now, and they don't condone that way of being. But there are still rappers who are only casting women with weaves on and wigs on. And how many natural hair women do you see in videos? You still don't see them.
No, not unless
So we've got to do
some
better.
message is being put. Not unless there's an intentional message being put out.
This is India Ivory chatting about my hair is real, whatever. You don't see that in videos to this day. You don't see it. So it's all well and good when it fits our narrative, but when it don't fit us, we're just like, whatever.
Yeah, that is 100% true. It is and has been a major issue that I think just continuously gets swept under the carpet and feeds the separation of all of us as a people. Whether people want to admit that or not, women are the core of us. Yeah, within any race, culture, creed, women are the core of that. Yeah, so it's like, to disrespect the core is to disrespect the whole thing. So then the question that I have for both of you, or question in general, is what realistic solutions do you think there are that can be either put in place or encouraged to take us in a more positive direction in terms of how black women treat black women and how black men treat black women?
Come, Fab.
I think conversation forums. Even recently, I had to, you know, kind of listen and understand a problem between three of my female friends, and I think the heart of it was they needed to speak. You know, so I think conversations are the key.
Yeah,
and that's really it. Like, I don't even want to go on like there's some real extra thing. It's just talk to each other.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just a conversation forum, and that's it. Because once you talk and you understand where people are coming from, whether you agree or don't agree, you then understand that our black women are not our enemies. Do you get what I mean? I'm you know, I practice what I preach, so I'm always an empowerment of black women. You know, of all shades. Do you get what I mean? Because I think we also can victimize, you know, a lady who's mixed heritage. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Because she's no, she's black. Once they got black in them, they're black. So just to conversate, just to speak about it, you know, what we're doing now, having conversations, and that's really the main thing.
Yeah, I agree. It is about talking and communicating. And like you said, Simon, it's not about brushing it under the carpet and acting like it's not happening, because it does happen. And conversations are the key to actually making things move positively in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%. I know that we're short on time, but before we wrap this up, something that kind of just popped in my head. It's a word that's just been floating around for a good couple of years now. Now, when we think of black men defending black women, yeah, and I would say that it's not just a black thing, it's all races, but that would be a lie, because I only hear it within our community. When a black man defends black women, he gets called a simp.
I've heard this.
Somebody explain this to me, because I'm at a loss. As far as I was concerned, why is there because the meaning of that word doesn't necessarily mean what people think it means, but it is used in that context.
Yeah.
So someone help me to understand this, because when I see it, I'm like, okay, so basically, if I see a black woman bashing another black woman, as a black man, I should just say nothing and just let them deal with it over there, because for me to step in, I'm being a simp. I'm simping.
Someone explain. I actually haven't heard that before, to be fair.
Because I think I've heard it before, but It was a younger generation, like younger people than me, that I've heard it, and it was literally in passing on the street, and it was like two girls fighting, like you said, but schoolgirls, and the boy stepped in, and the boys were like, no, don't be a simp, don't be a simp, don't be a dickhead, and then he walked away from it, and it's like, I don't understand it either.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't get why that is, that if you step in and break up or try and, you know, support a black woman, you get then given a name or a phrase. But where did it come from and who coined it? And that's another issue. I think we've got to come back and like research that more and come back, because I have heard it.
Yeah,
I have seen it.
What it means. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll come back to that, because I think there's a whole other talking point of why that is the case. Because I don't know why that's the case.
All right. So continuation on this topic.
Part 2 coming soon.
But yeah, all right. I know that's all we've got time for, so I'm just going to wrap up here. And yeah, I'm going to open the floor to you guys who've watched this video. I'd love to know your opinion on the relationship between black women and the relationship between the way black men treat black women and the impact. So any kind of opinions, we would love to see those. Please leave your comments. That's how we get this conversation going. And that's how we open up the floor for this discussion and create more awareness. So yes, that is all we have time for. This is the Then Everything After podcast. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, to like the video, to share amongst friends, so that we can have this conversation with more like-minded people. And with that, this is Time. This is Amax.
Sasha Chantel.
And Franklin, aka the King of Trainers. See you later.